All right. So Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts is officially on the trading block, and with the rumors circling his name, I kind of want to discuss everything, talk about the chances he actually gets traded, and also discuss some potential landing spots that I think would be a great fit for him if it actually happens. But before we jump into all of it, hope you all are having a fantastic, fantabulous, awesome freaking day. My name is Garrett Shoemake, and this is the Shoemake Take. Hope y'all are doing well. So, as you can tell, I'm in a different location right now. I'm actually at my grandmother's house for the week. I have an aunt and uncle that live in Tennessee that fly down here and stay down here when they come down. So, I obviously follow around. I'm really tight with my uncle. I love him. So, here we are. And we're going to be here for the rest of the week. And we're going to make it work. And I just knocked my tablet down, by the way. So, if you actually, this is a good point to talk about it now. If you see me kind of reach down here to look at something, it is my tablet to look at my script and my notes. So I don't have another space I can like kind of put right here to make it match my height. So I apologize, but we'll make it work. And also I'm not trying not to move my mic around too much. I'm not going to try and do that. So if the audio fluctuates and is a little bit different, I apologize in advance. This is kind of an impromptu setup if I'm being 100% honest with you guys. But here we are. We're going to make it work, and Kyle Pitts is now the point of conversation. Let's jump into it. So for a quick refresher on Kyle Pitts, for people that aren't familiar with his backstory, so he was the 4th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the highest tight end drafted ever in NFL history, so very high pedigree that we're talking about here. And as a rookie, he had 1,000 yards, looked explosive, looked dynamic. But since then, he really hasn't lived up to expectations. And you look at his stat line from the past few years as the Atlanta Falcons starting tight end, which, by the way, he's on the last year of his contract now. And you can see at the numbers here that they're not that great. And so continuing on, why hasn't he lived up to these expectations that he set for himself after his rookie year and being drafted? Well, number one, of course, is injuries. He had a season-ending injury, in week 11 of 2022 where he tore his MCL and his PCL. And since then, he's kind of dealt with a bunch of tweaks and also played through a bunch of injuries as well. Like in 2024, he had a hamstring injury he was fighting through. And then right now, actually at OTAs, organized team activities, he's actually dealing with a foot injury. So that's new. And it's another add-on to the, I don't know what to call it here. Oh my goodness. I guess call it, I don't know what to call it. Like another like injury on the list, I guess. But looking at his injury history, it's just he's gotten really unlucky. That's the biggest thing. And along with that, it's really hampered his play on the field. Now, I tried to like figure out why specifically he doesn't look like explosive because of his injuries. I'm trying to like kind of point it to like one or a couple things. I've heard some people say that he just looks slower. I've heard some people say that he just straight up doesn't put effort in his plays. And I've watched film on both of these points, and I can see both. Definitely, he doesn't look as explosive compared to how he looked as a rookie, and definitely you can look at certain routes where he's definitely not putting in all the effort. You can tell obviously when he's not getting the ball on tape, so that's not great. And you're looking at like specific stuff, he's not physical, he doesn't play to his size as much, and sometimes it seems like he's running out there, he's curving his routes in certain points, and he's kind of just going through the motion more than just actually going really hard and putting in everything. And you can tell that the injuries and lack of effort reflect that, which is unfortunate. And another thing that maybe could have held him back is coaching, possibly. I don't know if they've tried to use him differently. I don't know if they've tried like mixing him up and putting him in different formations and trying to figure out if they can find something that works for him. So I'm not fully aware on that. So someone let me know in the comments that might be more knowledgeable in that department. But definitely for sure, Kyle Pitts has not lived up to expectations, and the injuries that he's dealt with and the lack of effort on the field at certain points during 2024 more specifically, that's from what I've seen, has led to a tight end that had generational talent that has not lived up to expectations so far. But this now leads to the trade rumors that have swirled his name. Apparently, the Falcons right now want a day 2 pick, which is either a second round or a third round pick. Right now, I'm telling you, the trade up, they're not getting that. They're not going to get that, not even close to that, in my opinion. And if they don't lower the offer, Kyle Pitts will remain a Falcon. And right now, odds-wise, I think Kyle Pitts does remain a Falcon right now. I don't think that the Falcons are going to end up trading him. I think they're going to let him play out his 5th-year option, see what he's got, and if he's got it and he bounces back, maybe they'll extend him. And if they don't, then probably he's going to go and be a free agent and go somewhere else. The thing is, there's 2 reasons why I think the Falcons will not trade Kyle Pitts. Number one, the tight end market just simply is not good right now. It's very saturated, so there's not a lot of demand. almost every NFL team has a starting tight end on their roster that they like. Some of them have a second tight end or even a third tight end that they like. For example, like my Tennessee Titans, I'm a Titans fan. We're not trading for Kyle Pitts. We have Chig Okonkwo, Josh Wiley, who we've both drafted over the past couple of years. We just drafted Gunnar Helm, the tight end of Texas, in the 4th round. And we also have a couple other guys that were undrafted free agents that we like. So the Titans are completely out in the Kyle Pitts discussion, for example. We don't need one. So many other teams are in that similar boat where their tight end rooms are, to the organization, they're pretty set. So we'll have to see. And probably there's a team that's out there that I'm not thinking of, or a team that I'm kind of ruling out in my mind already that could trade for Kyle Pitts. But I just don't think there's a market. I don't think there's a big market for him. Tight end is, like I said, is a very saturated position right now. And so it's just, I don't know exactly who's actually going to go and get him and would be a right fit for him to start and get a lot of snaps for any particular team outside of the Atlanta Falcons. And number 2 is the Falcons don't have a replacement for Kyle Pitts. If you look at the stats of every other tight end on their depth chart, it is awful. Not like in a bad way. It's just they don't have any stats whatsoever. Oh, let's look at it. I'll show you right now. Charlie Warner, 2026 round pick out of Georgia, 18 career catches. Felipe Franks, you remember that guy, the former Florida quarterback turned tight end? He, when did he come out of 2021? Yeah, came out of 2021 draft. He has 1 career catch. And then Tegan Quitoriano, 5th round pick out of Oregon in 2022. No stats whatsoever. So, I mean, there is no experience whatsoever on the Falcons depth chart for tight end outside of Kyle Pitts. So, if they're going to trade Kyle Pitts, they're going to have to get somebody back in return, whether it's a swap from another team's tight end or they go trade for somebody else's or bring in a free agent somewhere. I don't know. That's definitely, the cupboard is bare for starting experience and playing experience overall for the Falcons tight end room outside of Pitts. So that's the other reason why I don't think they trade him, because they just don't have a replacement. But with that being said, I still want to iterate that I want Kyle Pitts to get a fresh opportunity. I think it would be best if he gets traded for his sake, because I think he could be used a little bit differently with his injuries and with, you know, everything that's been happening in Atlanta for him. Definitely, he no longer seems like the focal point of the offense like he used to be or like he was thought to be. And so maybe in 2025, he doesn't get that opportunity if he gets traded. But I think that's a good thing, because maybe you trade for him and use him in a more limited role. Give him time to actually, you know, heal, get really healthy. Meanwhile, he's, you know, learning your offense, getting integrated. And then if you feel like he can make it, you know, bounce back and step up, maybe you give him a 1-year extension, maybe give him a 2-year extension, let him be your starter, see what he's got, and invest in him a little bit. I know that's not realistic in terms of NFL standards and what they do for contracts and players and whatnot. Like, this is a far cry. Like, this is probably not going to happen. But I would really like it if he would go to a team where he has that opportunity just to get healthy, and then maybe next year plays and bounces back and do right by the player, invest in the player a little bit and in their talent, because he's still a generational talent. The guy's, 6'6", 250 pounds almost, and runs a 4.40. So, I mean, the guy is a physical freak of nature. One of the best athletes I think we've ever seen come into the NFL in recent memory. So, a lot of juice in the tank, I still think. A lot of talent, a lot of potential there that's still untapped. And maybe you just use him in a different role, use him in a more limited role, and going into the future, he makes a bigger role and bounces back. But what are some landing spots that I think could be really good for Kyle Pitts? Well, here's a couple. Number 1, they're in no particular order, by the way. The Jaguars are an interesting one. They have Brenton Strange going in as our starter. They like him. They think he's going to take a step forward. And maybe just Liam Cohen wants another weapon for Trevor Lawrence. He always talks about this offseason and is just helping Trevor Lawrence. And trading for Kyle Pitts. And if you get trade him like a late day 3 pick, like a 6th or 7th round pick, shoot, even a 5th round pick, I would, if I was Jacksonville, if I was Liam Cohen and the new GM James Gladstone, if I could get Kyle Pitts for a 5th round pick or later, I would take it. I would. Why not? See what he's got. He's got a lot of talent. And like I said, that's another weapon for Trevor Lawrence where you could use him. And that could work. That could work. I don't think that happens, but it is a spot that's intriguing to me. Number 2 is the Kansas City Chiefs. This one is very, I don't say likely, but if Kyle Pitts were to be traded to the Chiefs, it would not surprise me whatsoever. You look at, though, they love getting potential weapons for cheap. A couple ones that I have on my list here, right? Juju Smith-Schuster, they brought him back after a while of him leaving the Kansas City Chiefs. He went to the Patriots and bounced around a couple spots and came back to Kansas City. They also traded for Kadarius Toney and got some value out of him, right? And for the tight end spot, while Noah Gray is there, and I'm expecting him to probably take the tight end one spot once Travis Kelce leaves, maybe they can slide him in there and carve out a role for him. I mean, the Chiefs are not a team that, relies on one player a lot because they haven't had that one dynamic playmaker on their roster. Even Travis Kelce hasn't been that since last year. And so they really do a good job at getting everybody involved, kind of cycling everybody around and utilizing everybody on their depth chart. I mean, you will constantly see wide receiver 6, wide receiver 7 on the Chiefs roster out there making catches and making plays. I mean, last year they used Xavier Worthy, DeAndre Hopkins, Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster. They used, what's his name? He just went to the Houston Texans. Oh my God, what's his name? He's like their 5th or 6th string receiver. He just went to Houston. I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. But they were constantly cycling through their players all the time. Now, is that because they didn't have a lot of talent? Sure, you could say that. But also, Andy Reid knows how to use his players and knows how to utilize everybody to their strengths. So it would make sense that you trade for a guy like Kyle Pitts who has a lot of talent and just throw him in the rotation and use him, and maybe he makes a few plays for you. And when Travis Kelce retires, maybe you have a duo in Noah Gray and Kyle Pitts. That would be pretty fun to watch and pretty fun to use. Another one that's really interesting, this one could actually be the most likely one to me, is the Miami Dolphins. Because their starting tight end, Jonnu Smith, who's coming off of a Pro Bowl season, having a career year, he's in the trade rumors right now, which because the Dolphins don't want to extend him or they don't want to give him a pay raise, they're trying to restructure his contract. Yeah, they're trying to restructure his contract, and Jonnu Smith doesn't want to do that. And so, of course, the Dolphins being cheapo Dolphins over here, maybe they trade for Kyle Pitts and send Jonnu Smith to the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons would get Jonnu Smith, who's a highly productive tight end last year and could be a really good piece in that offense. And then you have Kyle Pitts in Miami, which Mike McDaniel, the head coach over there, I would love to see how he would use Kyle Pitts. While would he be the most productive player, I'm not sure. The Dolphins are not known for using tight ends in their offense very much outside of last year with Jonnu, so we'll have to see. But a physical freak and physical specimen like Kyle Pitts, I think it'd be really fun in Mike McDaniel's offense. I think he could find a lot of creative ways to use him and make him an effective, reliable weapon in that offense. The next one is probably the Jets. The Jets could be interesting because their projected starting tight end right now, at least to me, is their 4th-round pick, Mason Taylor, out of LSU. So maybe you want to get another guy with experience in there. Past those two guys, I don't know how much experience there is on that depth chart. Like, seriously, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to speak on that too much. So someone let me know in the comments if that's legitimate or not. But it would be at least interesting. Maybe you get Justin Fields another weapon he could throw to. I mean, there was rumors that Justin Fields could go to Atlanta a couple years ago. So it's, I guess, a connection, I guess. I mean, Justin Fields is a Georgia native. Kyle Pitts, no, he didn't play Georgia. What am I talking about? Never mind. Scratch that. That's gone. But it could be interesting. Maybe they could use another body in that depth chart for the Jets, but I doubt it. This one's one of the least likely on this list to me. And then lastly, the Rams. The Rams is another interesting one because they have a starting tight end in Tyler Higbee right now, and they have some other tight ends in there that have played for them, that have experience. And also, if I trust anyone to make Kyle Pitts look good, if I had to pick one head coach in the NFL, if you were to give him this player and they were going to look good, I would say Sean McVay, genuinely, because he's not only is he one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, he understands players. He understands really what players do well, and that's just not tight end, for example. That's quarterback, that's running back, wide receiver. I mean, he is such a good offensive mind. I think the Rams would be a great spot for him to go. 1 second, sorry. I am so sorry. I did not expect my watch to go off and get a phone call. Wow, on the show, that's crazy. Okay, well, thankfully we're almost finished. But with the Rams, I think it would be a really good spot. Like I talked about with Kyle Pitts getting a kind of a 1 year to get healthy, and kind of play a more limited role and maybe take a bigger role in 2026. I think the Rams would be a great spot for that, and I'd be really excited for that. That way he can get healthy, like I said, and in an offense with Devontae Adams, with Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford still there at quarterback, I think Kyle Pitts could be a young, dynamic playmaker that, is he young? I guess technically still he's in his mid-20s. So, I mean, kind of a younger playmaker that they could really use on that offense. So, it could be fun. It'd be interesting. And if it's any coach in the NFL that I could get the most out of Kyle Pitts, I think could get the most out of Kyle Pitts, definitely I would pick Sean McVay. So that would be, sorry, my mouth is dry. That would be fun. But that is going to do it for me today. Kind of a shorter video, if I'm being honest, and kind of impromptu. Kind of just threw it all together, set it up, and here we are. And also, I did not drink water before the show, so my mouth is dry. We're trucking through it, but we are finished. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you did and you made it this far, please consider hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button. It helps the channel out tremendously, helps me continue to grow and spread my football passion to more and more people. We're trying to hit 100 subscribers before the 2025 season starts, and at the rate we're going right now, we're probably going to clear it. So here's to hoping that happens, and maybe we can set a new subscriber goal before the season starts. So do that, hit those 2 buttons. It's free. It's for me. You know what I'm saying? Along with that, make sure to leave your comments down below. Do you think Kyle Pitts gets traded? Do you think he stays with the Falcons? What do you think he's going to do this season? Do you have expectations, lofty expectations, low expectations for Kyle Pitts? Want to hear all your thoughts there. Also, make sure to share my video and also follow me on social media, getting everybody locked in and locked onto the Shoemaker Take, coming out with great content for you guys every single week, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what's the other one? TikTok? Yep, TikTok. That's a big one. I don't know why I put that one last, but oh well. It's all here though, so follow me there on social media and get locked in and locked onto the Shoemaker Take. But that is going to do it for me. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you all next time.